On this short video, I want to mention one interesting idea about the holiday of Sukkot that I think is not as emphasized as a different, very well-known idea. If you ask most observant Jews, what's the main purpose? What's the main idea behind the holiday of Sukkot? Probably the first thing that comes to mind, almost everybody will say, well, the Torah itself says it. It's the remembrance when we exited Egypt, right? We lived with divine protection. We lived in tents. Some of our sages in the Talmud take it literally, that it's a remembrance of those tents in which we lived. Some take it in a more spiritual way, that we had special clouds of glory, special divine protection that saved us in the desert while we were in the desert. In any event, that reason is very well known, and everybody would say. A somewhat less known reason, but also very well known, is that the holiday of Sukkot is the holiday of simplicity. The idea is that just like on Pesach, we eat simple food, the simplest bread, so too during Sukkot we live in the simplest dwelling. That even a rich person has to move out of his nice apartamento, right, a very well-built house, and live in a simple hut. I think there's a third, much less emphasized point of the holiday of Sukkot, and that is what we call Hakaras Hatov, Hakarat Hatov, as Sephardim would pronounce it, the way to be grateful, to appreciate what we have. A very large part of being a happy individual, I think, is being able to appreciate what we've got. For many generations, people lived without running water in the houses, without central heating system, without all the conveniences we have. And we have all that, and we never really appreciate it. The civilization now is so comfortable to live, but we don't appreciate it. We don't compare ourselves to people who lived 200-300 years ago, even 100 years ago. We grow up with this, we take it for granted, we don't really appreciate it. There's a general point that many of our sages, including the Vilna Gaon, make, that people usually notice things only when they lack them. But something that's good, they don't consider it a reason to be constantly thankful. They forget about it pretty quickly. We're ungrateful in general creatures. We generally take things for granted, and only when we lose something, then we really notice it. For instance, when a person is sick, then they complain. But when they're healthy, they don't say, oh, Baruch Hashem, I have more or less good body that's functional and I don't have any major sicknesses. Most people, which is probably 90-95% of the population, at least at my age, I'm almost 50, I would say that most of such people are not particularly sick with major chronic diseases, so they should be thankful every day. They should wake up every day and thank Hashem that the heart works, the kidneys work, they don't have to go to dialysis. That's a real hell, Gehinom on earth, mamash. Right? Constant dialysis, trying to wait for maybe kidney transplant. These are terrible things. Every single part of our body, if it doesn't function correctly, it creates terrible problems, whether it's the stomach, if a person can go to the bathroom, whether it's the lungs, the heart, the brain, all kinds of cancers that exist, all kinds of other diseases. But we never appreciate that. Only when something goes wrong, then we appreciate it, how good it used to be. In any case, the point of holiday of Sukkot is that once we live for a week in a hut, we could really appreciate the conveniences of the house, especially in today's day and age, when our house has all those major conveniences that nobody had 100 years ago. I think that should be our major concentration during this holiday. We should really thank Hashem that we have all these wonderful things. Of course, holiday of Sukkot is also a time to spend with the family in simplicity. Simple pleasures would be the holiday of Sukkot. Everything is simple. Simple dwelling, people sit together. It's a very happy holiday. It's in a way more happy than even Pesach, especially the end of it. The Pesach starts with the main day of Pesach is the first day, and then it gets to be less happy in a sense. Sfira is not really such a happy occasion, and we don't say full Hallel the rest of Pesach. Whereas on Sukkot, it only keeps growing, and the culmination, the best day is the last day. On Pesach, the culmination will be Shavuot. The relationship between Shavuos and Pesach is the same as Shmini Atzeret and Sukkot. Only that in Pesach it takes 7 weeks to prepare for Shavuos, whereas on Sukkot they all follow one after another. 7 days of Sukkot, just like 7 days of Pesach, and then 1 day culmination of it is Shmini Atzeret is immediate, and that's the happiest of them all. So let us enjoy the simple things we have and know how to appreciate it and be thankful to Hashem for everything He gives us. And if you like this video, please press like.